and welcome back to Retired Happy. This is your Retired Happy friend Carolyn from Mississippi. And I want to thank each one of you for coming back today. And I want to thank all of you for all your comments that you made on the fall frugal style show that we had Monday. I got lots and lots of comments on which ones you liked best and which ones were your favorite, and I'm not going to be able to keep all of them because my budget says that's a little too much, but I do like all of them, and it's going to be hard to choose. But anyway, thank you for all of your comments, and I hope you learned a little bit of something, and I hope that you learned or realized that we can get new items in our wardrobe. I love to have something new to wear. I'll pick a new something rather than something that I already have that I like any day. But we don't have to spend a lot of money to look good and to have something new to wear. And it just takes a little bit of tweaking, putting things together. And for me, and just speaking for myself, it helps my whole feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally when I put myself together in the morning and get dressed. And I just have a better outlook on the whole day in general. So there you go. Thank you very, very much. Today we're going to have a frugal cook-at-home lunch, and I'm going to make beef stroganoff, which is in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook. So this is an easy recipe. It's one that I used an awful lot when my kids were all at home and I had 7 around the table every night for dinner. But it's in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook, and a lot of you have my cookbook already, and I thank all of you for ordering it and letting me know that you like it. When I wrote this cookbook, I was writing it for my daughters or my children and my grandchildren, because my children were busy working and they would take the easy way of going through the drive-through on the way home from work and picking up something that was quick and easy and already prepared. So it kind of bothered me that they were relying on drive-through pickup and fast food so much. And being a nurse and working in the healthcare, I was concerned about the nutrition. Back when I was a young mom and just out of high school and out of college, I studied food and nutrition. I had a home economics degree, so there comes all of the sewing and the cooking and studying nutrition and what our body needs. So I was concerned about it. So I came up with a lot of easy, quick recipes that will help feed, help nourish your family, and that's fun and easy to cook without relying on mixes and Hamburger Helper, even though I did that a lot when I was a young mom. And then I learned I could make food that tastes better and was more nutritious and didn't have all the additives by cooking from scratch rather than relying on the already prepared food. So those of you who have the book, on the introduction, I tell the purpose of the book is to make food preparation simple, fun, and learning for the adult cook and the young cook. And throughout the book, I have AC by each recipe, which involves the cutting, the chopping, anything using the stove and knives, and then YC for what's safe for the young cook. So in case you have my cookbook and you wondered what the AC and the YC's for, it stands for the adult cook and the young cook. So the young cook can do the stirring, the mixing, count out the raisins, count out the nuts, count out how many fourth cups are in 1 cup of flour. So it's a learning situation. So it says it can be used by busy moms, grandmothers, aunts, anybody who wants to prepare and like nutritious meals, put foods together that look pretty, and learn measurements, fractions, and abbreviations. So I hope you read that little introduction. That explains a lot of why I wrote the book. And then the next page is a whole month of menus for busy moms. And now that we are retired, these menus and these recipes are just as applicable to us as senior adults and retired as they are for the busy moms, because we don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen cooking either. But we do need something that will keep us healthy and be good for us to eat, that's quick and easy. So those are the menus. A lot of the items on these menus are in my cookbook. So, and then the next page is Mommy Tips. Now, if you are a grandmother, or in my case, a great-grandmother, who has children who have young children, this book is great for them. And it gives all kinds of mommy tips on there, like how to set the table. You go F-O-R-K, goes on the L-E-F-T, 4 letters. The S-P-O-O-N goes on the R-I-G-H-T. And it gives little tips like that, and little tips how to learn fractions when you're cooking. And on the very back page is the equivalents. So in case you or your young cook needs a reference on the equivalents, that's on the back page. So this is a fun little cookbook, and it was fun to put together. And now that I have my YouTube channel, I have cooked a lot of the recipes that are in that book. And I'm also fixing a lot of other recipes. So right now I'm compiling and sorting out all of the recipes that I have cooked on YouTube that are not in this book. So I'm putting together another cookbook that will be the Retired Happy Cookbook. So that's a fun project that I'm doing and putting together. So hopefully that will come out soon. I want to try to get a year's worth. And if I don't think it's enough recipes for a book, I'll go for a 2 years worth. So we'll see. I may take the ones that I have prepared out of this book and put with the Retired Happy Cookbook. So that's that. And I hope you enjoy lunch today. It's going to be quick, easy. And like I said, it's the apple salad, the stroganoff, and dessert is going to be the fruit cocktail cake. Now, if you've never heard of a fruit cocktail cake, which I hadn't until pretty recently, it is so moist and so delicious. You're going to really like that cake recipe. It's going to be good going into the fall. It will be good going into Thanksgiving, or maybe even a Christmas cake. So I hope you try it. It's quick, it's easy, and it's delicious. It's not a mix. It's all from scratch. So I want to bring you up to date on my knitting. This is how far I've gotten. And y'all, I just finished the hardest row of all, and all of you experienced knitters can tell me why that was so hard. It was the yarn over, knit 2 together. And I had the hardest time getting my knitting needles through my knit 2 together. I don't know if my tension was too tight or what, but I'm past that row now. So now I'm on the knit rows again. And I'm really liking the color of it, and I'm liking how it's turning out. So, but that row was a real challenge. But you can start to see, let's see, you can start to see where it's going to have the design that the knit 2 together yarn over is going to have, which is going to be really pretty. So the good word for today is pray for our country. I have been watching since we got home from Bible study this afternoon about Charlie Kirk was killed at a meeting in Utah. So y'all, we need to pray for our country. It's okay to disagree with somebody. It's okay to not see things the same way somebody else does. We're all going to have our own opinion. We're all going to have differences. God made us that way, made us all unique. But just because we disagree with somebody, that doesn't mean that we have to be enemies, or in this case, somebody who disagreed with him shot him and killed him. So we have to protect our freedoms and pray for our country, that we continue to feel safe and feel like we can go to an outdoor meeting and hear somebody that we agree with, but there may be somebody else who doesn't agree with them, but that's okay. That's okay. So God bless Charlie Kirk's family, his wife, his 2 young children who are left, and God bless America. God bless our world. There are a lot of countries right now at war with Israel, Ukraine, and there's a lot going on in our world. But thank you, Lord, that God is in control and God knows exactly what's going on everywhere. So we have to be strong, be courageous, put our faith in God and walk one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. And that's my good word for today. So I hope you enjoyed today's cooking show. Next week, we're getting into fall. So next week, I'm planning to show you how to make a little puff pumpkin. It's really, really, really cute. I made some last year, and I haven't gotten out all my fall decorations yet, but I wanted to show you one today. But things have been going on. I've been real busy, and I haven't gotten it out yet. But next week, I'm going to show you how to make a little fall pumpkin. Let me know if you made any of the mug rugs, if you decided to make the chicken mug rug or the pumpkin mug rug, and how you liked it, and let me know what colors you made out of it. And also let me know if you decide to go to Costco and get any of the wardrobe items, or if you find somewhere else that's economical in our budget. I know TJ Maxx, a lot of my friends go there. I haven't, but it's just because I haven't gone in that store regularly to know their stock. But anyway, have a good rest of your week, and I will see you again next week. I hope you enjoy these recipes. So for the dessert this week, I'm going to make fruit cocktail cake. And this is a really good moist cake. So it calls for 2 eggs beaten, 1½ cup sugar, 2 cups flour, 2 teaspoons soda, and 1 can of fruit cocktail undrained. So let's go ahead. This is what I put my little recipe on so I can have it to look at, and it gets up out of my way and it doesn't get splattered on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is beat the eggs. I have 2 eggs, and I've been letting them sit out so they're at room temperature. So this, I don't cook dessert very often, so this cake will last me the whole week. And I'll probably have enough to share with my neighbor down the street. So 2 eggs beaten. And into my big mixing bowl, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 1/2 cup sugar. So this is a 1/3 cup measurer, so that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 1 cup, and then a heaping for the half. So 1 1/2 cups sugar, 2 cups flour. So I have 2 cups. This is the all-purpose flour. And I've already prepared my baking dish. I have a 9 by 13 baking dish. I've already oiled it. And I did oil it with some of the tallow that I showed you last time. And I don't have any shortening. I really like to use shortening in my to grease my baking pans, but the tallow will do just fine. Okay, that's 2 cups flour and 1 teaspoon soda. And I do have my oven already heating. It says bake at 300 degrees for 1 hour. So I have my oven heating. And it's a very interesting cake because one of our friends took it to our coffee. We have a neighborhood coffee one time a month on the first Thursday of the month. And she brought it to the coffee. And I was surprised when she told me it was a fruit cocktail cake. But I think it's very good, very moist. And with fall coming, I'm ready to kind of shift from a lot of the lighter foods and just get into a little bit more substantial foods. Okay, now the fruit cocktail, of course it's Kroger brand, and it's canned in pear juice from concentrate, so it's not the sugary sweet kind. So we're going to open the fruit cocktail, and it says to add undrained. So we will add the whole can, the juice and all, and mix that up. So it's very simple, very quick to mix up. And while the cake is baking, it calls for a rum sauce to put over while it's still warm. So while the cake is baking for that hour, I'll make the rum sauce to go on top of it. And the rum sauce calls for 1 stick butter, 1 cup sugar, 1/2 cup evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and 1/2 teaspoon rum flavoring, or 2 tablespoons rum. And I'll go over that again when I'm making it. Okay, and the instructions say mix it with a spoon, so that's what I'm doing. It does not say use a hand mixer, just beat with the spoon. So there we go. My cake is beat, it's all mixed up, and now it's ready to go in my baking dish. So I'm going to pour it in my already greased 9 by 13 baking dish, and then I'll put it in the 300-degree oven to bake for 1 hour. And then this will go with the rest of my dinner I'm fixing, the beef stroganoff and the apple salad. It's going to be a really good lunch. And all of it will be enough for several more meals after this. I might end up sharing. Okay, doesn't that look good? Now that's all there is to mixing the cake. And now it's going in the preheated oven. Y'all let me know what you think about this if you've ever made this. I had never heard of a fruit cocktail cake until she brought it to our coffee. So after she brought it and I thought it was so good, I just had to try it. Okay, we're going in the oven. And it will bake for 1 hour. Now the cake is almost done. It's brown on top, but it's still soft in the middle, so it's still not quite done. It needs to cook a little more. So now I am melting 1 stick butter. I have 1/2 cup regular white sugar, 1/2 cup brown sugar. And to that I'm going to add 1/2 cup evaporated milk and bring all of this to a boil. And after it comes to a boil, I will add the vanilla and the rum, and then let that boil for 5 to 6 minutes until it gets thick. Now the sugar, the butter, and the milk has come to a boil, so we're going to stir it. I've been stirring it so the sugar would melt. Now I'm going to add So I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. And the cake is almost done. I'm getting ready to take the cake out. Okay, there's the vanilla. And there's 2 tablespoons of rum. I don't normally have rum in my house, so I had to make a trip to the store to get a bottle of rum. And I hope I got the right kind. And I think, well, maybe I can use it for some of my Christmas recipes also. Okay, so I'm going to let this boil now for 5 to 6 minutes until it starts to get thick. Now the cake is out of the oven. It springs back when touched, and we have to let the cake cool slightly, and then we'll poke holes in it and pour the sauce over it. Now the sauce has gotten thick and the cake is out. It has cooled slightly. So I'm going to take just the handle of my wooden spoon and go around and just poke holes in the cake. And we'll just poke them kind of all around randomly all over the cake. And this is what's going to help make it a really moist cake. So I think this will be a really good cake for the fall, and possibly you can see what you think on into the holidays. Now I'm going to pour the sauce, because the sauce has gotten thicker. So I'm going to just pour the sauce all over the cake. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take a knife and go around the edge of the cake. Oh, this is going all down in those little holes. This is going to be such a good cake. It's going to be so moist. So I'm going to take a knife and go around and loosen the cake all around the edge. Because I want this sauce to go down in between the cake and the pan. And that's going to be good around the edges. My favorite piece always is the corner piece or one of the side pieces. I like the crust. Okay, now I'm going to just let this set and let it cool while I go ahead and finish the rest of lunch, and then this will be ready for dessert. So doesn't that look good? Isn't that pretty? It just looks like fall. It looks like a really good caramel sauce on top. For lunch today at Retired Happy, we're having beef stroganoff. Very good, easy, simple recipe. It's in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook. And it's very easy. I cooked it many times for dinner when we needed a good, quick, comforting meal. So in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook, beef stroganoff. With that, I'm going to put apple salad, and I'm going to cook a little package of, these are pink eye purple hull peas. And I get these fresh at the produce market, and then I fix them, put them in the freezer, put them in these little Ziploc bags. This is the snack size, so it's not too much, but it's enough for me for dinner, and this will be enough for 2 or 3 meals. But this one I put up in July 24, so I need to get it out of my freezer to make room for some fresh 2025 peas. So let's get started. I'm going to make the apple salad first. Put it in the refrigerator and let all of that marry and marinate together while I'm cooking the peas, the noodles, and the stroganoff. So on the apple salad, I have already washed my apple. I have my celery already ready to chop. So I'm going to have the chopped apple, chopped celery. I'm going to put some dried cranberries in it. Y'all know I love the dried cranberries. I get those and I like those instead of raisins, but if I don't have cranberries, I'll use raisins. And I'm going to put some chopped walnuts in it, half mayonnaise and half Greek yogurt. And that will kind of break the mayonnaise up where it won't be quite so mayonnaisey. So I'm going to go ahead and get my apple chopped and put the apple and the chopped celery in my little storage containers. These are great little plastic storage containers. And my son saves those for me from his luncheon meat that he gets. He works and takes his lunch to work every day. So he has an accumulation of those little plastic containers. And it says on there that they are microwavable safe, but I do not microwave in my plastic. I always microwave in something glass. But these are just the right size for all of my refrigerator storage needs. And since they're all the same size, I can stack them, and it really, really helps with my storage in my refrigerator. So thank you, son, for saving your sandwich containers for me. Now this apple salad is just so good and fresh, nutritious, and satisfying. And in the fall, well, even in the summer, but in the fall we're getting in the crisp apples. This is what I showed you on my grocery shopping trip, and I believe it was the Gala apples. I got the 3-pound bag of Gala apples, and so I have been eating fresh apples, and now I'm making apple salad. And in a couple of weeks for you, we're getting on into fall, but in a couple of weeks I will make the fresh apple cake for you, which, oh, it's so good in the fall. Okay, there is the apple. That ends up being a lot. This is going to really make a lot of apple salad, so it will last me for quite a while. But I do eat it. Sometimes I'll eat just a little bit for supper at night, or have it for lunch and for supper. So let me know what you think about your fall recipes. If you make a gradual change in your menu items and what you prepare when you're getting into fall. I kind of make a little shift over to fall type items, not total winter items, but just fall menu items. And let me know how you fit your apples. You may have some really good apple recipes that you like that I don't know, but I would like to know. So put in the comments, please, your apple recipes and your fall, transition to fall recipes. Okay, they've got the apple and the celery. And see how pretty this is? This is really a pretty salad. And you know the old saying, we eat with our eyes before we eat with our tummy. So it really helps to have something pretty that you're serving on your plate. And especially when you have your children or your grandchildren over and they like to have something pretty to eat. Well, Maisie just heard all the chopping and talking, and she has just come in the kitchen to see what's up, see if it's time for her lunch yet, which it's not. She always knows I eat my lunch after I get through fixing, then I feed Maisie. Then we walk down to the mailbox and get the mail and get her a little exercise after lunch. So I think she was just kind of checking it out, see what's going on in the kitchen. But sometimes I use pecans, sometimes I use walnuts. Depends on what's available in the refrigerator and freezer. Okay, so that looks good. So let's go ahead and start adding the mayonnaise and the yogurt and see if we need any more walnuts or cranberries. And there is a scoop of the mayonnaise. So let's see how that does. That might be enough. Okay, that's going to be plenty. So that is looking good. I don't think we will need any more of either one of them. So this will sit in the refrigerator now. Hopefully it'll be about 30 minutes while I fix the peas and the stroganoff. And the cake, the fruit cocktail cake, I fixed yesterday so it would be ready for today. So it is ready. And I did go on and eat a little piece yesterday and tried it out before y'all got to see it. And oh my goodness, it's good. And it's been sitting overnight, so it will be even better today. Okay, that looks good. That's just the way I want it to look. So that was a good scoop of mayonnaise and a good scoop of yogurt. So I'm going to put the lid on that and set that in the refrigerator. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the peas on to cook next, so the peas can be cooking while the stroganoff is cooking. Next, I'm going to put the peas in a boiler of water and get them started to cook. So that's just plain water. The peas, I do blanch my peas when I freeze them in the fall when I get ready to put them up. So now I'm ready to cook them. So I've got them in the water. I'm going to put a little bit of the beef tallow that I got at Costco and some salt and get this started to boil. Now on the recipe for the stroganoff, it calls for 1 pound of ground chuck, 1 chopped onion, and brown that first. Now I'm going to make half the recipe because it's just for me. So I'm going to use half a pound of the ground chuck, and the other half I'm going to put back in my freezer, and I will use it either one day this week or next week and make hamburger steak, and I'll put that with gravy and mashed potatoes. And I'll bring you along for that too if you want to see how I make that recipe. But since it's just for me and I'm cooking for one, I'm going to use half the pound of ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the burner and let it start browning and chop the onion up to put in the hamburger meat. So this will go in a Ziploc bag and go back in my freezer. While I'm chopping the onion and browning the meat, I'm going to go ahead and put the noodles on to cook. So I have water in my boiler. I'm going to put some salt in it and a little bit of olive oil. And what I use for my stroganoff are the extra wide egg noodles. So I'm going to put that on the boil while the meat is cooking, so it will all come out done at the same time, hopefully. Since I'm using half the recipe, it calls for 1 whole onion chopped, so I'm going to use half an onion. And these are some Vidalia onions that I got at my little produce market when I went. I got some really good peaches. So everybody from South Carolina, thank you. Y'all have the best peaches. That's what we're having at our produce stand right now, is the South Carolina peaches. And they're freestone and sweet, and I have been really enjoying my peaches, my fresh peaches this summer. So I have the meat on to cook, the peas are cooking, the water's on to boil for the noodles, and we've got it all going on. So now we'll shift over to this side. The peas are cooking, the water just came to a boil for the noodles. So since it's just me, I'm not going to I'll use about half this package. Well, it's not a whole package to start with. I'm going to go ahead and put all of that in. So it started out being a 1 pound bag of noodles, and this was probably a third of a bag. So the noodles are on cooking, and the onion is in the hamburger meat. We're going to brown the hamburger meat and the onion. Now the other ingredients in the stroganoff, after the hamburger meat gets brown, I drain the fat off of the hamburger meat. Then we will put in, I'm going to put some extra mushrooms in because I do like mushrooms, but I have the mushroom soup. I'm only going to use half can since I'm halving the recipe. I'll use the other half can to make some broccoli soup, which that recipe is also in Maggie's cookbook. So I don't use soup mixes very often, but occasionally they are in a recipe. So once in a while it's okay. It is a convenience. And I remember from the shopping trip for September, I did get a good package of broccoli and cauliflower that was for me and for Maisie's lunch. So I'll make broccoli soup with the other half of this can of cream of mushroom soup. Now everything is cooking along. I did put a little bit of water in my meat and put the lid on it so my onions would cook, because there is no fat in this at all. This is some of the ground lean from Kroger. It's 80%, and there is no grease at all to pour off. So to get the onions done, I had to put a little bit of water in there and put the lid on it. So the noodles are done. I'm going to turn those off and let them sit. And the peas are getting done. I did put about 3 little stalks of okra in there. I like okra in my peas, so I have the okra in there and letting it cook. Now we're going to put half can of cream of mushroom soup because I am making half the recipe. So 1/2 can. And 1/2 can of sliced mushrooms. Now we don't want it to boil at this point because we're getting ready to put the sour cream in there. So I'm going to turn my heat off and go ahead and get this all mixed in. And we are almost ready to eat. This is a very quick meal. And when you're cooking for a family or you've been at work and you're coming in from work, you want something good and quick that tastes good, but it doesn't take a lot of time. Now it calls for 1 cup sour cream. So we're halving the recipe. So we're going to put 1/2 cup sour cream. And I use the whole milk sour cream and the whole milk cottage cheese and yogurt. And that's just something I've gotten back into doing rather than the low fat or reduced fat. And I have found I am more satisfied, it tastes better, and I've actually lost a little bit of weight going back to the whole milk. So there we go. Okay, now we don't want the sour cream to boil and cook, so we want to turn the heat off when we add the sour cream to it. And I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of white wine in it. It calls for white wine, so not a lot, but just a little. So just a splash of the wine in there, and stir that up. And we're ready to plate up our food. Lunch is ready. Doesn't that look good? And it is good. So to plate it up, I'm going to put my noodles on my plate first. And I did turn the camera off for a little bit while everything was cooking, but this whole meal, from the time we started chopping the apple to make the apple salad until right now plating it up, was right at 50 minutes. So it didn't even take an hour to fix this good, delicious meal. So I hope you try this recipe. Please let me know in the comments when you try it. And please let me know how you like it. And let me know what you put with it. Now I'm going to put my peas right there. I don't have any bread. Don't need any bread with this menu. So no bread on the menu today. Put the sauce over my noodles. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of paprika on top. And if you wanted to decorate it, make it look really pretty, you could put a sprig of parsley and put a couple of mushrooms on the side. So here's the apple salad. Has been sitting in the refrigerator since we mixed it up. So now we're going to get some apple salad. And this is my lunch for today. So good. Getting ready to sit down and eat, and as soon as I get through eating the lunch, I'll show you the fruit cocktail cake. And to drink, I have my half cup of the POM juice, and this is the 100% pomegranate juice. I also get that at Costco. So no, Costco is not paying me to advertise for them, but I'm just letting you know where I get some of my products. But this POM juice, I've started drinking this instead of iced tea at lunch, and I really like it. It's very satisfying. Lunch was so good. So satisfying and nutritious and fulfilling. So now for dessert. This is the cake. I did eat some last night for supper, and I just cut me a little piece. But the fruit cocktail, Maisie just bumped into the camera, but the fruit cocktail cake has been sitting overnight. So now today it is so moist. This is really a good cake. So I do hope you all try it. This is going to be my dessert for today, and it'll be the perfect finish for a pre-fall lunch. So let me know which of these recipes you try and put them in the comments below. And I appreciate it, and just stay in touch and let me know how you like it.